Last time I was here, I did a little workshop on nurturing our children and kind of raising children. And there were only 4 people here, so we were able to sit right here and really have some good discussion. But there's a lot more of you, so I will probably stand here and do some stuff up here. But I love when you guys have questions and I will ask you questions, and when you have input, it really helps all of us. So please feel free to ask questions or talk or do anything that you need to do. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce myself, and then we're going to go around, and I want to know every one of you what your name is, what you do. I mean, anything that you can tell me about yourself so I can know you a little bit better. Okay? I've already gotten to know some of you, but I want to know more. My name is Jennifer Payne, and I have lived in Bakersfield my whole life. I am the principal at Compton Junior High, and I've been there for a couple of years. I've worked with Bakersfield City School District for 30 years, teaching and being a principal, vice principal, different things like that. I also attend church at Parkside, which is up on the east side by BC, and I have 7 children. 3 of them I gave birth to, and 4 of them I've adopted. Because I want my children to have a great experience when it comes to church and faith, I run the youth group at my church because my kids are in it, and I want to make sure they have a good experience. So I run a youth group, and I have been doing that for about 25 years. So that's kind of a little bit about me and my experience. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys introducing yourself, and I'm sure you appreciate me introducing myself. I don't know. And I don't know why you're here, or if you know why you're here. I don't know. All I know is Randy Martin, who runs the covenant here, called me up and asked me to do a couple of workshops. And this is one of the workshops he asked me to do. Do you guys know what it is that we're doing today? Or did you just show up because you had to?
The second one.
The second one? Okay.
Something about parenting, right?
Well, the last one was on parenting. This one is actually for us.
Oh, I was told it was parenting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean,
It'll go by quick.
I mean, so probably have something more to do with me anyway.
This actually is an extension of the one we did for the parenting, and it can be applied as a parent as well. How many of you are parents? Let me see. Any of you? Just the one? So you're not a parent?
No.
Okay, but we have the one. Hi, guys. What's your name?
Ryan.
Ebony.
Ryan and Ebony. Nice to meet you. I'm Jennifer. Yeah. Well, this workshop is titled Spiritual and Emotional Health, and it's for our own selves. It's how we can develop ourselves as healthy people emotionally and spiritually. So that's what this workshop's about. And so it's going to be geared towards ourselves and how we can become healthier. But as you're listening to it, it'll give you some good ideas in terms of how, if in the future you do raise children, how you can help them grow up to be healthy, emotionally and spiritually as well. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit about what this is about. And I realize that most of you are here because you have to be here, so hopefully it won't be too painful for you. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you take one of these and pass them around. And if you can take a pen and pass those around as well. Ebony, do you want to move up to the table? Or you guys can probably move this way a little bit, or maybe around so that Ebony can move up. And who's the other guy? I forget his name. Eric? Make sure Ebony gets one. Yeah. And then Eric as well. And then you can pass the rest of them up. Do you have an extra one for whatever the guy's name is that just walked out? Okay. You want to pass those up? Here we go. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do, it sounds like most of you, well, give me your name again, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Ryan.
Ryan. How did I get Eric out of that? Ryan.
I wish it wasn't Eric.
Okay, Ryan. Anyway, one of the things I heard as we were going around the circles, a lot of you have been in school or have taken classes and done things like that. So what I'm going to do is the thing I'm going to teach today or kind of tell us about is kind of a college level thing. It's something that you would learn in a course, and we're going to try to do it in an hour, okay, or less. But this is something that's called, I don't know if you've ever heard of Erickson's stages of psychosocial development. But Erik Erikson is a psychologist who did a lot of research into how children and how humans, how we develop our psychosocial selves, or how we develop emotionally, how we develop spiritually, if you will. And this is what they discovered. Now I put this chart on here and I want you to look at it because this is kind of the basis of what we're talking about. Now, the way it's supposed to happen is that parents have children and the parents are responsible to nurture those children so that they grow up to be healthy individuals emotionally, right? Physically and in all aspects. That's the way it's supposed to work. And the way it works is, if you look at the chart here, from infant to 18 months, when you're rearing a child, this is when a child learns to trust or not to trust. And the window, and this is the development that occurs in our brains during that period of time, birth to 18 months. This is when the window is open and a child develops trust or no trust. They don't trust. And so what happens is when a parent is nurturing their child at that stage, they attend to their needs. If they're crying, they help them, they see what they need, they feed them, they clothe them, they make sure they have nurture, right? So if this is absent in those first 18 months of life, like these little ones, if that's absent, then they learn to not trust people. Even though it's only the first 18 months of their life, that's the window at which they learn to trust or not trust. And when that 18 months window closes, people are generally set. They either trust or they're not going to trust. And when you see it when people are older, 13, 14, 15 adults, I have trust issues. And I don't know why. It's because they didn't get that nurture they needed from birth to 18 months. Does that make sense? You ever think about that? Yeah.
On a daily.
Pardon me?
On a daily.
On a daily basis, you think about
I have
that?
trust issues with
Okay.
everybody around me.
Possibly then, there was an issue between birth to 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so keep that right here.
Always.
Because as a parent, a future parent, this is why our role is so important with children, with raising children. Because you have that 18 months of time where you can nurture, attend to their needs, and make sure that they know they can trust you, right? Because if they're crying and whining and nobody's meeting their needs, they can't trust, right? So as a parent, you gotta think about that. But what I want you to do for the purposes of today is think about yourself. And I don't know your backgrounds and I don't know your upbringings, but you gotta ask yourself, did I miss some crucial nurture during that time that may have caused me, like Ryan said, to not trust? Now look at the second stage, 18 months to 3 years. This is when children develop either autonomy, like I can do something, I can be self-sufficient, I can take care of myself, versus shame and doubt. I doubt myself, I'm insecure, I can't do anything on my own. And what parents need to do during this crucial stage, 18 months to 3 years, is to allow their children to dress themselves, feed themselves, pick up the spoon, and they begin to develop this sense of autonomy. I can do something. I can be independent. I can help myself, right? Versus parents always doing it for you. Let me feed you. Let me put your clothes on. Then people develop this shame. Like, look at my friends. Their moms aren't helping them, but my mom is. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so ashamed. I really doubt myself. I can't do anything right. And then this surfaces when we're older and we think, I'm insecure. I feel like I can't do anything. I doubt myself. It's because during that window of time from 18 months to 3 years, we may not have gotten the right nurture to help us develop autonomy, independence. Okay? Are you with me? Okay. So look at the next one. 3 to 5 years. During this time, this is when children either develop initiative or guilt. Okay? Initiative means I'm willing to take a risk. I'm willing to try something. I'm not afraid to speak up. And during this time, parents are to give their children opportunities, right? Nurture them so that they're not afraid to try. They're not afraid to risk. They're not afraid to fail. Now, if we're with parents that are always making us feel guilty for trying, or if we're with parents that always say, stop that. You don't know what you're doing. You're failing. You're a failure. That kind of thing. Then kids, they think they develop this guilt complex as opposed to being strong and taking initiative. They're afraid to fail, so they don't try. Does that make sense? So what I want you to do, again, as I'm going through these, I want you to think about yourself. Reflect back to your own upbringing and ask yourself, did I miss some of the crucial nurturing that I needed to help me develop trust, autonomy, initiative? And we're only going to look at a couple more. Look at 5 through 13. During this period of time, this window of time, this is when we develop industry versus inferiority. Industry is that ability to work hard, to feel like you can accomplish something, to feel like you can do something, you can create something, you can work hard, you can, that kind of thing. Versus inferiority, it's like I'm worthless, I can't do anything, I'm not even going to try, that kind of thing. Okay? And a parent's role is to nurture at each stage of each stage of development, so that their children learn trust, autonomy, and initiative, and so on. But the problem is, a lot of parents don't understand this, and they're struggling with their own issues. And so their children, us, we miss some of this crucial nurturing to help us develop in a healthy way. Okay? Does this make sense? I see a nod. I see a nod. Does this make sense in theory? Can you see it?
Perfect.
Okay, because you're feeling it. You maybe lived
I've
it.
been through it.
Yeah. Okay. So as parents, we have to make sure to give our kids the experiences they need to develop healthy way. As adults here, we may have not had that. And so what we're going to talk about today is how do we recover from that? How do we set ourselves on a different path? Okay? Now, what I want you to do is, I'll explain this in a minute, but let's look at the thing here. It says emotional health is dependent on proper nurture during child rearing. When proper nurture has not been received, emotional and spiritual health can be recovered through these following steps. Now, I want you to look at the steps. Step number 1, you have to determine your life's vision and goal. So I want you to turn the paper over, and on the blank spot right here, what I want you to do is I want you to draw this arrow. Give me a pen, it's right here. Let me get another one out there. So I give you an idea about how big. Okay, so about like this, and I want you to draw a picture of yourself right here at the bottom. That's you. All right, draw a picture of yourself. Yes, you do, you. So you think, this is me. Okay. So the first thing that you have to do to recover from maybe some of the detriments or the deficits that we have in terms of nurture is you have to decide, what is it that you want? What's your life vision? What's your life goal? And that's what you're going to write over here on this side. So up at the top, you put a happy face, because this is what you want. And then you record just a couple of things, what you want. For example, some of you said a career. I'll just do for me, career in education. Okay. I want a committed relationship. In other words, I don't want a relationship and then they leave me, and then another relationship and then they leave me. I want a committed relationship for life. That's what I want. I'll put for life. I want a family. I want to be financially independent. I want to be able to support myself, right? I want to raise healthy children. This is just me. And I want to make an impact on others. Somebody mentioned over here, and I forget who it was, that they want to serve. Was it you? That you just want to serve and help others? Somebody said that. I can't remember who it was, but that's what I want to do. Make an impact on others. Okay, so write a couple of things. What is it you want? What's your life vision or goal? And that's what you write here under the happy face. And when you're done with that, you put the opposite, or whatever it is you don't want. Okay, over on the other side, that hence the frown face. What is it that you don't want? I do not want to be homeless. I do not want to be dependent on others for my living. I do not want broken relationships. I do not want to be lonely. Gosh, I don't want to die. I'm trying to think. But that, you get the idea, right? Okay. And you do the same, write it down. You need to write it down. So what is it you want? What is it you don't want? So in order for us to grow into healthy adults, or to become healthy adults, if we've lacked some of the nurture needed, the first thing we have to do is determine what we want. We have to have a goal or a vision. Now here's the thing, if you look at number 2 here on this page, it says we have to then understand that the choices we make will push us this way or push us this way. Okay? We make thousands of choices every single day. We make lots of choices to get up or not to get up, to eat breakfast or not to eat breakfast, to brush our teeth or not brush our teeth, right? To show up to work on time or not, to work hard or not work hard. Every day we make thousands of choices, and those choices push us one way or the other. It's all about choices. Okay? And here's where it connects to what we were talking about earlier. We typically make choices, and this is number 3 on the thing here. We make choices or decisions based on nurturing ourselves, on what nurtures ourselves. Now let me explain. See this? This is a big well or a hole. That's what this is. And every single human has it inside of them. And this is what psychologists have discovered. When our parents have filled us up and nurtured us, okay, then we don't have to go out and seek things to nurture ourselves. When our parents are nurturing us and helping us develop in a healthy way, then we don't need to fill that bucket, and we naturally move in this direction. Okay? So we all have this hole, and I want you to draw this on the side of your page. And we all have this hole inside of us. And if our parents have not filled us up in a healthy, proper way, then we as adults are going around trying to fill that hole, that emptiness. We're nurturing ourselves and we don't even realize it. Go ahead.
What if you were good at, like, taking a positive and turning it into a negative?
That's a gift or skill, you mean, that you have? Hold on to that, because we're going to talk about that. Perfect. So this is what I want you to share out with me now. When you think about what are some of the things people try to fill that emptiness with? What do you think?
Money.
Money, okay.
Guilt.
What was the other one?
Alcohol and drugs.
Alcohol,
Guilt.
drugs, and then I heard guilt.
Bad relationships.
Yes. Bad relationships.
Food.
Food. That's me.
Sleep.
Yes. In fact, I have a couple of kids that we adopted that they slept for like the first 7 years they were with us because they were so depressed. And I heard one that I missed. Food.
Food's nice.
Games? What'd you say?
I said food's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Okay, so bad relationships, money, food, drugs, all of this.
Guilt.
And this is, yes, guilt. This is what people do. If they're raised in a family where that nurture didn't take place, then they grow up to fill themselves, to fill that hole and that emptiness and try to nurture themselves. Everybody does it, and they don't realize it. And so we have these people who wake up and they're 23, 24, however old they are, and they think, why does my life suck? Why am I in this bad relationship? Why do I keep going back to this bad relationship even though they're bad for me? You know, why can I not stop? It's because we have this need and we're trying to fill it ourselves. And guess what? It never works. It never works. We're never satisfied. It's never empty. It's almost like there's a hole and it all just goes right out. And so we spend our life doing this, making these kinds of choices that are propelling us this way. And what we want to do is start making decisions, is start nurturing ourselves in a healthy way so that we can start making decisions and choices that lead us this way.
So like an abyss that never gets full.
Yes, yes. Every single human, and this is what psychologists have discovered, they've known this for years, but every single human need, right? And ideally, our parents are meeting those needs. But unfortunately, realistically, not everybody has parents or those kinds of parents. And kids are growing up in these dysfunctional homes. Those needs are not met. And so we grow up as individuals and we don't trust and we're not independent and we have all this guilt and we feel inferior. And so we start trying to nurture ourselves because it's there. We feel it with all this stuff. And as we nurture ourselves with this, it propels us in this direction. So, if you look down here, number 5, in order to nurture ourselves in a positive way, which leads towards reaching our vision, this is what we're going to do. There is a way to nurture yourself in a healthy way and to get you on the different track. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to make, I don't know if you have room, but make a really big one, like that. Okay? And I want you to write these 4 areas: physical, mental.
What if they're already on the paper and they have little slots?
Oh, yes, that's right, I did. I put them on the paper, so you can use those if you want, or it doesn't matter. Emotional, I'm just doing this for the graphic of it. And spiritual. And this is what I've done, because my husband and I take in foster kids. We adopt them. We have one currently right now. He's 11. He's going to be 11 from Friday, but oh my gosh, crazy little kid. And, yes, go ahead.
I'm a foster kid.
Are you? Excellent. I love you. I have a place in my heart for you. But let me tell you my little guy's story. We've always taken in foster kids, but I'm a principal at Compton Junior High, and there's a school next to me, Harding. And the principal there knew we took in foster kids. And it's been about 10 years since we took in a foster kid, because we've raised them, and they're, I'm old. But anyway, and my husband's even older. But she said to me one day, hey, I got this kid. Will you take him? And I said, okay, well, I'll come next door, because my school's right next door. So I walk next door, and I just kind of peek in. I take a look at him, and I say, there he is. I'm trying to make a little connection. And so I said, when I left, I said, give me his social worker's number, and I'll call her. So I called her up, left a message, and I said, listen, I know this kid is in a home, but if he ever needs a place to stay, let me know, and we might be able to take him. She called me right back. She said, can you take him now? Because they had just turned in their 7-day notice, and he was out. And I went, okay. So because I know how to work the system, I got him like within a few days. And I didn't even know him, but he came to live with us, and this was 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago. And he is the oldest of 6 boys. He grew up right here in Oildale. Parents, drug addicts. They taught him how to steal and how to do all kinds of stuff. He tells us stories all the time. He tells us the story of how he'd go into the store and he'd wear a backpack, and it was unzipped, and his dad would go up and hug him and push things into the backpack, and just all kinds of things like that. And
Take notes.
that's not what you're learning. Anyway, but his second brother, one time they were at home because they would raise themselves. Parents were always gone, and his brother wanted to play camping, so he set up a tent inside the house. It was right over here, and lit a candle. House burned down, and his little brother, the number 6, died. I know, it's tragic. So here comes this my little guy, and he's a mess. You know, lacked the nurture, right? And so what we've been doing for the past 2 years is filling him and filling him and filling him. And even though that window closed, you know, we're at the 18 months where he's learning trust, we're trying to do things with him to recover that. It's a long journey. And why did I tell you this? I don't even know why. Oh, I know why. Because every time we've had foster children come into our houses, we've gone through this with them. And we said, okay, this is where you were, or this is where you're headed.
But this is where we want you.
Yes, and this is where you want to be. And every one of them, when you say, where do you want to be? They want to be here, right?
I got one thing to say.
Yeah,
One
go ahead.
who's been in the foster home he understands one who is going through the system. I have been in 4 foster homes and 3 group homes in the last 10 years.
How old are you?
I'm 21,
Okay,
and I'm in one now,
okay.
but it's more of an adult foster home.
Right.
And I have, you know, friends who are up in their ages and they have kids and they're going through the same thing, but they don't understand.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is talk, you know, like a kid. You gotta be that kind of person, be like, hey, such and such, you know, if something happens, don't dwell on it, go through it. And you know, what can be darker usually gets lighter.
I can if persevere and keep going through it. I appreciate your encouragement. So what my encouragement is to us, and I don't know where any of us are at in terms of this, but if we have looked to fill our lives with anything like this, it's going to end up getting us here. And I can guarantee every single person in the room wants to reach their goal or their vision for their life. Okay? So what we can do is we can recover if we didn't get the proper nurture. And this is how. And this is what we've done with every one of our kids, and every one of them are healthy, wonderful. I mean, we're working on our little guy, but I have 3 adults that are doing very well. 3 adult children, adopted children. One of them I adopted at 18. Not till I was 18. Anyway. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is what we taught them. You nurture yourself by setting goals in each of these areas so that you can develop physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So for example, you say you're a runner, right? Right? So you can set some excellent goals in the area of physical, like you want to run so far, or like a distance, or you know what I'm saying, and then you work at that. My son was a football player at Centennial, and so he set some goals for that. Or I have another son who is a weightlifter, and he has set goals for that. But we set goals that keep ourselves healthy physically, and this is what helps fill up with positive nurture. Other goals, I'm going to get enough sleep, or I'm going to eat healthier, or I'm going to get exercise in a certain way, or I'm going to play sports with whatever. So I want us to think about that for a minute. The mental one. Now a lot of you talk about going to school. That's a great goal to help stimulate the brain. Maybe it could be reading books. It could be participating in discussion with other people about things they're learning. It could be going to school and getting some sort of a certification or a degree. But those are some goals you can set in the area of your mental development. Emotional. Emotional has to do with our relationships. It has to do, now, like my brother right here said, and that's only because I can't, Shaquille.
Yes.
How could I forget that? Are you a Laker fan? Okay.
My grandmother was.
Okay.
It's like you can't be a Laker fan when you spend, your entire life wearing Shaq shoes, Shaq jerseys, and then you're not allowed to throw the trash away. You have to kind of make a free throw, and then you can't make the free throw, so everybody then compares you to Shaq. Even
So you had to live up to
I
that.
had to live to Shaq.
But when you shared earlier that was it your stepdad came
No,
over?
no, it
Who
was
it?
my mother's boyfriend.
Okay,
The last
mother's boyfriend came over and apologized. That's where we begin to nurture ourselves emotionally, when we have connections or relationships that are healthy. It could be a parent, it could be a sibling, it could be a friend. But this is where we set goals like with my kids, I said, this is how you will develop emotionally. Spend lots of time with your family. Now, if there's no family, what other relationships do we have?
We got friends.
Yes. Yes.
I'd
Yeah.
shift chair.
No. Friend. Are you guys friends?
No, it's spiritual.
Okay.
We're all brothers and sisters.
All right. So this is what we do here, okay? Like with my kids, what I said, we established a family night every Monday night, and that was one of our goals, is that we connect with the family, we play games, we do things with the family every Monday night. But it could be with friends, could be with other family members like grandparents or things like that. Go ahead.
Do you ever wonder, like, if you have like a certain uncle or a certain aunt who doesn't treat you like family, but you walk up to a random kid and be their friend for, say, a couple of years, they're like your brother or like your sister, and you think to yourself, damn, my own friends treat me more like family than my actual family.
Oh, absolutely.
I think like that all the time.
I have this hashtag that I do on my pictures on social media. It's this.
Hashtag.
And it stands for, friends are the family we choose.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there's your family, then there's your friends that are like family. And that's what I hear you talking about.
I got friends like I've known since middle school, and they were like kind of like blood brothers and sisters.
Right.
But hey,
Right. Okay. Now the last one is spiritual. It's setting goals, and I don't know where you guys stand with faith. And everybody's probably in a different place. Me personally, I am a Christian, and I believe in God, and I seek to follow the words and the teachings of Jesus. And the main thing I like to do, and I talked about it up here, making an impact on others, is serving and helping others in need, because that's how I connect spiritually. So it's really about connecting with something bigger than yourself, and it's about helping others, really. And so I set goals in this area, like my kids would maybe mentor a younger person, or if you are a believer or someone that attends a church, it could be memorizing certain scriptures, or it could be serving or helping in the community, different things like that. Okay, so this is what I want you guys to do for about 5 minutes, is I want you to reflect and think to yourself, what goals can I set in each one of these areas so that I can begin nurturing myself in a healthy way rather than in an unhealthy way. Okay, so take a few minutes and write some goals down. At least one under each. I'm going to do it too.
Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Kind of throwing an example.
Oh, that's cool. Here, I'll trade you. No, I'm Christian. I converted. I was originally Catholic, but now it's like Catholic Christian, but we still go to a Christian church. He doesn't want to serve the Catholic church.
Usually from early on Sundays, I'm starting. I'm really religious.
I'm gonna ask, hopefully some of you will share. I'll share first, but I'm hoping some of you will share as well, so that we
Share
can
what?
hear what others are,
Our feelings or emotions?
pardon me?
Feelings or emotions?
Just your goals. Yeah, not that.
Are you gonna do my or do Eleanor's pretty soon?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking.
Like I said earlier, the boys that we've adopted, we've taken them through this process where they identified the lack of nurture they received, what it caused inside of them, and we identified the things that they were doing to try to fill that void. So then, once they realized that, we help them set goals so they can nurture themselves, recover in a healthy way. And then let me just stop there for a minute. Let me go ahead and share what goals I've set for myself, because I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still recovering, if you will. But number one, physical. This is a goal I have, and it's to lose 20 pounds. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to drink lots of water, because I saw this thing on the internet that said that if you drink like tons of water, it helps you lose weight, so I'm going to try it. And walk every night. And I'm going to try to stick to about 1,200 calories a day. But I really, last year I was 20 pounds lighter, and I felt better. And so now that I've gained all this weight, I don't feel as good. So that's my physical goal, is I'm going to try to get back to where I was, because I think it makes me feel better. This is my goal. My mental goal is I'm going to read books. I read lots of books, but I'm going to read books on how to help or empower others, and also on leadership skills, as I lead a lot of people, and then also participate in book discussions. I have one I do every Saturday morning on Twitter. We tweet book discussion, plus I do one in person during the school year with some people who are also interested in learning their leadership skills. So reading books, that's what I'm going to do here. I have a couple I want to read. My emotional goal, it's really to spend more time with my family. And most specifically my kids and my husband. And we already have a family night every Monday night. My parents come over, my mom and her husband. She's got Alzheimer's. So, and it's just in the early stages. So I recognize that before I know it, she's going to be gone mentally. So I'm trying to spend every single Monday night with her, and it's hard because I want to be on my phone, or I want to be watching TV, or whatever, and I have to force myself to say, listen, I'm not going to have her forever, right? So one of my emotional goals is to spend time with my mom, even though she asks me the same question over and over again. Even though I'll tell her a whole story, and 2 seconds later she'll say, what did you just tell me? And her personality's changed and it's different, but I gotta do that with my mom, right? So that, and then also playing games with my kids, having family hour at home where the technology is put away and we just hang out with each other. We watch a Dodger game or we play a game. So that family hour, family night, that's my emotional goal. And then in terms of my spiritual goal, to mentor young people. Like I told you earlier, I work with a youth group at my church, but I've selected a few of them who really want to grow, really want to learn. And I am trying to spend time with them once a week just to develop their character. So those are my goals. I would love for you guys to share at least one goal. You have one goal you can share?
My physical goal was to go back to 174 pounds. I used to do mixed martial arts and stuff like that, and at a certain point, I don't know what happened, but I got really, really lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So like around the ending of last year, I was almost 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is to start training again and starting to lose weight. I've already started.
You look fine to me, but yeah, good.
Trust me,
Excellent.
if you saw me like 8 months ago.
Right, I know how you feel. Okay, what about you? A goal?
the physical and to stop drinking as much on the weekends.
Okay, good.
Not to drink a little too much.
Okay, it's not so good for you, huh?
Just during the weekend, though, not during the week. I
Okay.
can't do it.
So during the weekends, that's good.
It's just like once the clock hits and it's Friday, and
That's
just the
doable.
switch hits, and you're just like,
That's doable. Yeah, okay, next. A goal.
Can I say two?
Sure.
Emotional goal, to never let the ways of the world enslave you. Basically, meaning
I love that.
don't let what happened to you in the past become who you want to be in the future.
Yeah, yeah, don't dwell on the past, don't let it
I got
define
something
you.
to say. You're a genius already. You
Excellent.
got my attention.
And my spiritual goal is helping broken people become spirit-filled followers of Jesus who help broken people.
Yeah, that's what Jesus did. He kept it going, make disciples is what he said. Excellent. Do you have a church that you're attached to? Excellent. What's that?
First Assembly of God on
Yeah.
California.
That's where my dad went to church when he was alive. Okay, next.
My mental is to read more books and to continue studying
Excellent. What kind of books do you like to read?
anything and everything. Really.
Do you like fiction or nonfiction or
both?
both?
Yeah.
What's the last book you read? Or has it been a
Hunger
while?
Games.
Oh, Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read those too.
Like a kid that got candy. I like it.
All right. See, I loved Harry Potter, and after that, it's like I never could find anything that I really liked, but I did read that.
You gonna read the new books?
I tried. They're just not
They're
the
not Harry
same.
Potter.
They're not the same. But I tried. Okay, excellent goals. Next. Yeah.
I put for emotional, just to be closer with family and friends and to interact with more mentors.
Good goal. Attach yourself to a mentor and really interact with them and let them help nurture. Yeah, that's good. I like that. How about in the back? Did you come up with a goal?
For spiritual.
What's
to
that?
Start going back to church.
Okay. Do you have a church where you can go?
Well, I used to go to Bethany Ministries.
Yes.
Like when I was a teenager.
Uh-huh.
But now since I started volunteering, I would like listen to everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about just going there.
Good. Do it. Do it. Next, right here.
For physical, I want to at least drop some weight.
Okay.
Back in
You
high
and
school,
me.
back in high school, I used to be pretty good shape because I used to play football and
Oh,
weightlifting.
yeah.
It's changed. So
Yeah.
I want to go back to like the gym or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Excellent. Ebony.
Oh, just to graduate college.
Good. That's a mental goal, isn't it? To really develop yourself that way. Did you say go back or finish? I didn't hear you.
Graduate.
Are you at BC or Cal BC? Good. What is your ultimate goal?
To become a social worker.
Oh, good. Excellent. All right, Ryan, we'll go to you.
Mine is physical, and then the other one is spiritual. Physical, I want to be back. I want to lose some weight, be back to 177 pounds. I felt real light. I felt, like I can climb on top of a mountain, get to the top. And then spiritual, I want to be able to have friends I can actually trust to get to know new people. Because, like I said, I have a real high level of trust issues. And that's what blocks me from opening up. Once my trust is knocked down, it's just like
Right.
hard to build up, and I don't show it ever again.
Do you have friends now that you trust?
I've only got 3 friends.
You only need one. So you only need one. 3's good.
Yeah, first start.
Yeah. Okay.
I have 3 friends.
3
since
friends that you
middle
can trust.
school. Middle school and high school I went to.
Okay.
2 of the 3 actually came up to me for, when they needed something. Because I knew what I was talking about.
Okay. All right. And over here? Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I just did physical, to drink more water and eat healthier.
Good.
Less donuts.
Right. You're a Krispy Kreme. That's right.
Blasphemy is this less
I know. That's funny. Well, who works at McDonald's over here? Do you eat the food?
I work at McDonald's.
Oh,
Yeah, I get a
both
free
of you.
meal.
Free
every
meal?
day.
See, my kids, that's the only place they ever want to go is McDonald's.
I think I need to quit my job and change
That's
careers here.
how I gained weight. Literally, I
Yeah.
was 177 pounds and I'm 211.
Remember the documentary, was it Super Size Me or whatever, when the guy just ate everything?
That
And,
documentary was
oh my
proven
God,
false, by the
yeah.
way.
Oh, okay.
It was proven false by multiple different people.
It was a nice idea.
I'm 211 right now.
211?
McDonald's is,
I'm not
you
gonna
know,
tell you how much I
delicious
weigh.
and healthy and fat at the same time.
Okay, Vega, what are your goals?
A physical one. I want to be stronger. For work would be easier.
So what do you do to get stronger?
Like weightlifting.
Yeah, okay, very good. That's what my kids do.
Okay.
Next.
Mine would be mental, and is to keep up with education within the medical field to learn updated techniques and procedures and protocols.
Constantly learning, reading and learning, good. And you?
I guess mental to go back to school.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Well, at first, before, I didn't really flunk out. I just stopped going.
You just quit?
lost my yeah.
Motivation, yeah.
I wanted to be a therapist, but now I'm just
What kind of therapist?
for like foster kids.
Oh, yeah, like a counselor?
But now I'm thinking I want to go back to, because I'm going to move to Ridgecrest soon, because my girlfriend's going to college up there.
Who?
My girlfriend.
Okay,
And I want to take online classes so I get my GPA back up, so
Good.
I can become a teacher.
okay, excellent. Good teachers that are willing to connect with kids, build relationships with kids and make a difference. So what kind of teacher? Elementary, high school?
Well, I feel like most kids struggle between the transition from middle school to high school. So either like 8th
Junior
grade
high.
or
That's where I'm at. That's why I'm there. Because that's such a crossroads. Yeah.
Are you gonna, you're
Excellent.
gonna be going to Syracuse College, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm
so
from there.
what I want to do, I appreciate that you guys are thinking about this, that you're setting some goals, but of course none of this works if we don't actually walk out and do it. And so the last thing here at the end of the page, it says attach yourself to a life coach who will help hold you accountable and support you in establishing healthy nurture. Now, it could be a coach, but it could also be a friend, it could be a family member, that one person that you can say, you know what, I need to make some changes. I need to start filling myself up in a healthy way because of all the stuff maybe that I have been doing, and I want to get here, so I got to do this. And just tell it to someone that you trust, and they can hold you accountable, and then maybe you can do the same for them as well. Because otherwise, this hour will be wasted if we walk out and we forget everything. Does that make sense? So I recommend that immediately you tell someone, this is what I need to do to get me on the right path, or to get me here healthy, and let them know, okay? So just to recap, there are certain development that has to take place, nurture that has to take place, right? When that's missing, then we grow up starting to try to fill ourselves and nurture ourselves in unhealthy ways. And when we nurture ourselves in unhealthy ways, it leads to a life that we don't want. So what we have to start doing is filling ourselves up with healthy nurture, setting goals in these areas so that we develop in a healthy way and it propels us toward where we want to be. Does this make sense? Yes? Yes or no? Yeah?
Sure.
All right. Any thoughts or questions?
I think I just sliced the basics.
Anybody else? Thoughts or questions? No? You know what you're gonna do?
I don't really got much of a question, I don't really got much of an answer, but like I said earlier, what if you can turn a negative into a positive? Like if you have a counselor or a CASA worker, and they constantly, every time they see you, ask you, how are you feeling when you get upset? Or how do you feel when someone's bullying you or stuff? What if you give them the answer saying, nothing ever bothers me, no one ever puts me down? What would that tell you if I told you that? What would that make you think?
What I'd like you to do is I want you to stay for just a minute and I want to talk with you one-on-one because I don't know that everybody else needs the answer to that question. But I would love to sit and talk with you about it. Okay, so hold on for a minute. Any other questions or thoughts? Nope. I'm trying to draw it out because I know you got to be here till 6:30. Right? Nothing else?
Technically, we don't. We leave early a lot.
Okay, you can go. Bye, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Yes. And I'm going to be here next Thursday night too if you want to come back for another